Okay, here is the actual motorized unit from the fan, which I undid this little screw, so I took it off of the pole that it stands on, and you can see the actual working motor part is fairly small. There's the motor and the handle with the controls, high, medium, low, off. This you could wash with a sponge, a moist sponge. You don't want it soaked. You don't want to get water inside of the motor. But you can just wipe the outside. There's a little bit of dust. You can clean that up pretty well, conveniently. Now, here, what I did is the inside parts of the fan, I was actually able to clean in my kitchen, wash in my kitchen sink. And this I cleaned up pretty well. So it looks after washing with soap and hot water and rinsing it, and putting in this dish drainer and clean these two. This one I washed here in the bathroom because it was just a little inconvenient to try to fit in the kitchen sink, although you could use, if you have a hose on your kitchen sink, a spray hose in the back of your kitchen sink, it's easy to use that to rinse these things off. And pretty clean. Here's the handle that goes at the top. You can see the two holes for the fit on the sprocket thing. They're cleaned up pretty well. Drain it on there. And here's the front part of the cage. Now here I have the shower spray unit, which is convenient for rinsing it. And I brought it in because I've got rubber gloves. I was using bleach to try to clean the shower, and I kind of used the same cloth that had the bleach on it. I didn't want to touch, so I had rubber gloves to handle it. And the hardest part of this whole process is depending on how obsessive you are about getting it clean. This is pretty. I got this pretty clean, but you can still see you might have to take your little rag cloth thing and sort of go individually down into between each pair of wires on this cage if you want to get it really spotless. You can still see you need to kind of go individually in between each pair, and that just becomes a very meticulous thing that could take you 20 to 25 minutes to thoroughly finish. I did pretty well with this one, but it did take me about 15 minutes to really try to clean this thing, possibly 20 minutes. But you don't notice one, but once it's done, it'll be nice and clean. And while we're in the bathroom, here's another idea that I just happened to open the toilet a couple days ago. And inside, when you have the toilet tank full of water, it uses a lot of water, but you can sort of reduce that amount of water by putting in a plastic jug, which is itself filled with water. It sits in there, so there's a gallon of water that is reduced from the amount of water used each time you flush the toilet. You reduce it by a gallon. So it looks like there's about probably a 4 or 5 gallon tank here, and you're reducing that by maybe 20% just by sitting in a jug full of water. They used to tell us if you want to reduce the amount of water you're using in your toilet, put some bricks in there. That probably wasn't the best solution. This is probably better than that. First of all, the bricks are porous, so they soak up water, and water sort of flows through them, in them and through them. I don't think during the course of one flush most of the water will flow out of the brick, but to a slight degree they probably does. And over the course of a few years, if you've got bricks sitting in the toilet tank there, it's made of clay and it will kind of break down, and you'll probably find if you open up the tank it's gotten kind of reddish and there's like sediments, red sediment sitting around inside the tank. I think it's a lot neater solution to simply fill a plastic jug. This is a plastic jug that I wasn't looking forward to having to wash so I could put it on in recycling. So I just rinsed it out, filled it with water, and there it will sit and hopefully save some water. So there you go. That's part 2. In part 3, when I finish the last bit over there, I'll reassemble this.